That is on a Friday in one of the classroom of Building 26, 11 o'clock a.m.
So I was quite nervous.
First day is a little bit nervous for me.
I was nervous. I'm not gonna deny it.
Facing your students for the first time can be a little scary, but it's also an opportunity to establish that your class will be user-friendly.
I think the first day of class really sets the tone for the rest of the semester.
How can you set the right tone? As they make their way to your classroom on the first day, what qualities are your students hoping for?
Being knowledgeable and understanding the concept, and
you need to feel that you can approach them.
Have just like an air of confidence and
being easy to understand and
being enthusiastic and
being there, having the presence, having a lesson plan ready.
They're well organized.
That may sound like a lot. Let's start with approachability.
That is important. That you feel accepted and welcomed in the environment.
Being approachable can be as simple as facing the class and smiling, even if you feel like hiding behind your papers. And making eye contact.
Making eye contact just is like a personal connection to the person you're talking to, the audience in general. So students feel like the explanation you're making is for them.
It is an important form of communication for them to do that. It definitely holds the students' attention.
In terms of like international TAs in general, there may be some misunderstanding here and there, but I think it's important to make the students comfortable asking for for the TA to repeat like any word or any sentence.
I think at the beginning of the semester they should maybe say that it's okay for the students to ask for clarifications on if something isn't clear. I think that's generally a good thing for all TAs to say, just to welcome any questions.
Show that you are open and you care about the success of the students that you are trying to teach.
Enthusiasm is another way to show your students your class will be friendly.
Being enthusiastic and showing that you're actually passionate about the material you're teaching, that also gives a little more comfortable atmosphere during recitation.
I think TAs who are like excited about what they're teaching, or if like what they're teaching is like very specific to their research, you can tell that they want to teach it and they want you to learn it because they're very excited about it, and the student is probably going to be more engaged.
And before any other quality, students say they want knowledge, but they're also confident you'll have it.
I personally trust that MIT has selected fine TAs to teach us the material.
So on the first day, rather than trying to impress the students, stick with a simple explanation of why you are a good fit to teach the class.
I'm a third-year graduate student in the Department of EECS. I'm working with Professor Oppenheim, who is also the lecturer of this class.
Students also want TAs to show self-confidence.
When I think of confidence in a TA, I think of someone who is they come off as like, okay, like I know this material better than you and I'm going to teach it to you. So often I think TAs who speak not super fast and just like pretty articulate and slower so that their point gets across, usually I feel more assured that they're pretty good at explaining things.
The speed you have when you talk in a conversation, just like divide that by 2. And just because you're nervous in front of people, that speed will like increase either way. So speaking a little bit more slowly helps a lot because you can also have the time to think about what you're saying, and the audience and the students you're speaking to will have a better time understanding, especially with pronunciation or if you have a certain accent.
So speed makes a difference in how students see you. What about volume?
In a big classroom, I definitely have to remind myself that I have to raise my voice a little bit louder.
Speaking too quietly can also give the impression of nervousness.
This week's lecture focuses on sampling rate conversion.
A stronger voice projects confidence and commands attention.
This week's lecture focuses on sampling rate conversion.
Getting to the classroom early can also help you to feel more confident because you can get to know the students before you start teaching. And planning ahead not only makes you feel more confident, it also makes students confident in you.
So I think one TA that I had, when I think of a user-friendly class, I think of his class, because every day he had his recitation planned to the minute, which is pretty ridiculous, but it actually was very logical in a way that helped the students learn. So he would pretty much write the agenda on the blackboard, like from minute 0 to minute 5, like we're going to take a quiz, and from minute 5 to minute 10, we're going to talk about the quiz. If they seem like they're well organized, like they have their papers and like a nice little folder, I definitely look at that. And
Having a real lesson plan and showing that there's going to be like productivity in the recitations is important. Having something prepared shows that they were like thinking about us when we weren't in class.
Finally, international teaching assistants also stress preparation and planning in their advice for a successful first day.
As an international teaching assistant, we have some disadvantages probably compared to native speakers. But if we are prepared, if we show our enthusiasm towards the subject, I think the students will feel them as well.
Just be prepared. That's what the speak scores about you. If you're very prepared.
I went through all the notes, all the books that are related to the course, and I tried to prepare some good examples.
I think for that class I did a over preparation, that if I discuss everything on my notebook, it would take 2 hours instead of 1 hour. So I think never running out of materials seems another source of my confidence.
I should be confident enough to just by the sake of being the TA, not you shouldn't be nervous because you do know more about the topic than they do. So.
It was challenging, but in a good way. And
everything prepared, do your best.